The following is a production of Stevenson Media. H-Town, what it do? My name is Nick Stevenson.
I'm Scara K, and this is Texans Bloodline.
Scara, the Texans win.
I know. It was
Finally.
a very different week.
Tell me how it feels.
Holy offense.
Right?
It's so much better. It feels like, okay, maybe I can continue this bloodline thing.
Mhm. Right.
Definitely more like okay, like let's keep this up. This is good momentum.
Yeah. Now, you told me you like going to the games because of the, camaraderie of the crowd and everything. Where you told me today you were out at Dave and Buster. So what was the atmosphere like there?
So there wasn't a very big crowd that was watching the game.
Okay.
There were some at the bar. I happened to be there for a birthday party,
Oh,
and then
okay.
they had and I'm like, perfect. I can watch the game. I can, just sit here while they go play.
Yeah.
And so I was like upstairs where the party room was, but
Gotcha.
I could definitely hear the bar. And then and at one point, like all the parents started like standing near me and we're all watching, and it was
That's cool.
a lot. It was, it felt, I don't know, like a team
More
atmosphere,
community,
and
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
always more fun. This is a cliche, but winning, it really does solve everything, at least in the moment. And listen, it's been so long since the Texans have won. I want us to celebrate, and I want us to revel in this. Listen, the Texans get the win 26-0. They blow out the Tennessee
No.
Titans, who, let's keep it real. The Tennessee Titans aren't good. In his press conference, Cam Ward, who's their rookie quarterback, I believe the term he called them, he said, "We're straight ass," which, okay, we will concur that.
I did in my notes, I did write, I think I know how it feels to be a Titans fan right now.
Yeah. Just when you think that it can't get any worse for you, you realize there is worse. There is worse. And I think the Titans are there. And I think I told you in our first practice episode that we love that because the Titans used to be the Oilers, and the Oilers / Titans fans, they love to talk trash to us. So it feels so satisfying to get a win against them. When the camera would pan out to the crowd, because there was a lot of Titans fans in the building, I will say they showed up strong. Some of them wearing Oilers jerseys. When I saw this sad look on their face, it was just so satisfactory. I loved it because I'm that type of petty. So I want to talk about this game. I want to talk about all the things you noticed, as you're starting to learn ball. I know you said you had some questions as well. Let's just talk about, from your perspective, what do you think looked like it went right for the Texans today?
Stroud let go of the ball. Like he looked for where he needed to throw that thing, and it left his hand. He didn't hold on to it, just a little bit too long every single time.
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of it. But it just seemed offense was more coherent.
Mm-hmm. I cannot agree with you more. The offensive line had some really bad moments. I don't know if you caught when the center, Jake Andrews, completely whiffed on the Titans' best defensive player and Jeremy Simmons. CJ Stroud was underneath center, which means he wasn't in the shotgun is where he's standing far back from the line. Under center is when he's standing right underneath the line. And before the ball got to him, he got tackled by Jeremy Simmons. It was the most crazy play I've seen in a really long time. So I'm not going to say the offensive line was great. And honestly, CJ Stroud wasn't great early. I counted three.
Well,
Yeah, I counted 3 possible touchdown scoring drives that CJ Stroud himself blew in the first half, either because of bad decision making or making a bad throw. He had Dalton Schultz wide open in the end zone at one point and missed him. So I was a little bit discouraged. But as I was doing my watch party, I was like, there's a whole nother half. Maybe they go in at halftime and they figure some things out. The defense was great the entire game. What'd you think about the defense?
No, not the. I don't know. There were a couple moments where their players just like went. There was one they went right past like 7 of our players.
Oh yeah. So there was a
After
couple. That's what this defense has been, right? Solid for the most part, but they keep giving up big plays.
Mm-hmm.
So I can count like maybe 3 or 4 big plays.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that DeMeco Ryans wants to get rid of that. But anytime you hold an NFL team scoreless, I'm going to give you credit for doing what you were supposed to do. Now they got some help because their field goal kicker missed 2 field goals that were very, very makeable field goals. And honestly,
ouch, that hurt.
Yeah, honestly, Cam Ward, he's the number 1 pick this year. He's supposed to be like the next big thing. I don't know about you, but I was not impressed by him at all.
They did mention that, the commentators, a couple times, and yeah, I felt kind of bad for the guy, even though I wasn't supposed to be rooting for that one, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way he throws the ball. And if you were there for CJ Stroud's rookie season, he struggled a little bit his first game, but his rookie season, I mean, he was just incredible. And he took the Texans from, they won 4 games the year before to 10 games, going to the playoffs, winning a playoff game. Now we've talked about some of his struggles since then, but I'm not saying Cam Ward can't get better, but I just didn't like anything I saw from him. He missed a lot of throws, wasn't very accurate. He had a couple of good run plays, but other than that, I wasn't impressed. So I thought the defense did a good job.
yeah, I don't pay attention at least yet. I'm still focused on our team and what they're doing.
Right. For sure.
So yeah, but yeah, I did in the beginning. I did write, "Let the ball go, Stroud."
Yes, and he did. He did that. I'm so glad you noticed that. Yeah.
I think me writing it down helped.
Probably.
Maybe I've got a line.
I'm telling you, man, it's that teacher energy. Like, that's what it is. That's definitely got to do with something that's got to do with that. So listen, I'm so glad you observed, though, even though the defense did get a shutout, like that means you're really paying attention. Because, yeah, there were some chunk plays that, I mean, they could have had a historically good night or a good day if they would have limited those. I think Tony Pollard had a couple of really good, that's their running back. There was a couple of, big plays in the passing game. But for the most part, overall, like I said, you hold a team scoreless. The defense has not been the reason that the Texans are losing these games. We'll put it that way. Other than maybe the game against the Bucs, obviously that last drive with only 90 seconds to go. But the defense to me feels like a really, really good defense. And I'm sad to say this, but I feel like the Texans are kind of wasting a really good defense with this offense. But they figured some things out in the fourth quarter, right? You talked about you liking underdog guys. What was your thoughts on the game that Woody Marks had?
I mean, hello, Marks. Like he showed up. When I think for me right now, again, still so new, I would say, when I start recognizing a player,
Right.
then I'm like, hey, he's doing a good
he's
job,
doing
right?
something for sure.
He's standing out in some way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
Well, I'll tell you what we can do. I know you took some notes. Why don't we go through your points that you notated, and then we can get to some of the questions you may have had along the way as well. Sound good?
yeah, I do have some technical questions today.
For sure.
A lot more came up, I think, than other games.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start with my tush of the day. Or tush of
Hey,
the
let's
week.
do it.
And it is gonna go to a Titans.
Oh,
Sorry. And I don't even know his name. I just wrote number 49.
number 49. Was he on offense or defense?
I think defense. I'm pretty positive.
Okay. I'm not too familiar with their roster,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. He just had a nice tushy.
Hey,
Whoever
man.
shout
If
out
it sticks
number
out, it
49
sticks
on
out,
the
right?
Titans. Well, I think okay, and then yeah, as I'm watching, like we have a lot of good players with some nice tushies, but it's the same ones, and it's still if I had written one down, it would have been Collins again.
So what you're saying is the grass got greener on the other side. You're looking at the same butt 3 weeks in a row.
Right. I just thought I'd change it up.
Saw something new. Okay.
And then I did have like a player of the week and then it changed.
Okay.
My first player of the week was Nico Collins. For that, it was the 1st and 10, and he like caught the ball on the sideline
Hmm.
and he was like almost out of bounds. He stumbled and then he noticed that he could run instead of
Yeah.
just letting himself fall. And then he took off, and I'm like, hey, because most of them, especially the way he caught the ball, it seemed you're just gonna fall out.
Yeah.
And
Nico
yeah,
had a Nico kind of game. That's the type of game we've been wanting from him all season. So that's
okay,
very good
yeah,
observation.
yeah. So sorry. Oh, at the start of the second. So this kind of what you were saying earlier is like, you weren't quite feeling it in the beginning, and at the start of the second half, it was 6-0, and I didn't want to get my hopes up because it was still just 6-0, and
Hmm.
we've seen how that can go.
Yeah.
And then I confirmed that my hopes shouldn't be up when the Titans player ran through like 7 of our guys, and I'm like, where were you guys?
Yeah.
And all 7 like had a hand on their runner,
Yeah. There
and
was some
I'm like,
bad tackling. You noticed they were trying to use their arms instead of their body. Like if you try to grab a guy who weighs 250 pounds and runs a 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds, you're probably not going to get him down. And like you got to either
right.
go low, trip him, something. But when you're trying to tackle with your arms, it never works out well. You'll notice that as you start watching more ball.
Okay. Yeah, well, and not one of them, like, they were all close, but not close enough.
Hmm.
Like, why is this guy why? Where are you guys?
Yeah, yeah,
But,
for sure.
but I'm also not on the field, so
Yeah.
I get so critical that I'm like, "Yeah, but I couldn't do that."
True story. Me either.
Okay. So, this was an interesting moment. So there was, um, our guy caught the ball. I'm pretty sure we were on offense. And then yes, we must have been, because then they like huddled, like not even like tackled our guy. They like huddled around him and then
Hmm.
like systematically moved him back.
Right.
And like, I don't know. I didn't. And then I heard a whistle. So I was like, okay, is that not allowed to push someone back? Can you only go so far by keeping them up and moving them
Yeah.
back?
So I think there's two parts to this question. Number one, it's a safety thing. If they have
Okay.
stopped his progress and he's not going anywhere, rather than just waiting for them to throw him on the ground, they'll blow the whistle.
Okay.
So that way, sometimes that happens where everybody gathers and the guy's just really strong on his feet and won't go down, but his progress has been stopped. There's no way he's
Right.
getting away. So they'll just blow it dead to keep it from going any further. Somebody,
But
because those players are going to play until they hear a whistle.
right, but couldn't they just, like, hold him up and then just make progress on their own going their way?
You mean for the defense pushing him back or the offense
Yes,
pushing him forward?
for the defense, just like, "Hey,
Yeah,
we
they
got him
definitely
upright."
could. But what they'll do, this is the second part, is usually when that happens, when the whistle's blown, they'll give him forward progress to the point that he was stopped.
Okay,
And if he doesn't go down and they start pushing him back, they'll give him that forward progress. Now, if he gets hit and then let's say he's trying to avoid contact, so he starts running backwards to get away from them and they tackle him, then that would be a loss of
right.
yards. So it's
Yeah, it
it's kind of
definitely
one
goes
of
to that.
those, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it's half safety. You don't want, because like I said, these players will play until they hear a whistle. And so if they
Mhm.
don't hear a whistle and the guy's still standing, they're going to try to throw him on the ground. And then also there's a certain point where you realize, okay, he stopped, but he's not going to go down. So let's just give him to where he was stopped at, and then
Okay.
we'll go from there.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, I was like, "Okay, is this a new strategy?" Like
It kind of looked like rugby, right? Just kind of.
right, exactly. Okay, so now I'm not sure when this happened because I missed it and then, like, to write down when, and then it was a commercial forever, because there's all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
commercials. Um, but there was at one point where, um, we were on offense, Stroud threw it, our guy, and I don't remember who, it may have been Collins, but I don't think it was actually, but he didn't even look like he tried to catch the ball. Like, I know it was kind of far from him, but he didn't even, like, hustle to try and catch it.
Hmm.
And then it was, like, right before a switch, and then it was the other team's turn, and I didn't know if that made a difference. Um,
I wish I knew the play you were talking about.
I
I thought you were
know.
gonna ask me about the Nico Collins out of bounds play.
That I think is later.
Okay.
It
I do know this.
3rd and
I've
6th.
I have
It was
sometimes what looks like a lack of effort on our part when we're watching. I will say, usually, if when I watch the press conferences, sometimes a reporter will ask about that. 9 times out of 10, it's a miscommunication or maybe even a bad throw from CJ. And like you said, like we're not on the field, so it might look like, hey, you should have been able to get that, and maybe they could. There's been times that I've had that criticism as well, but then there's other times that maybe receiver thought, oh, I'm going to break out and he's going to throw it to my left shoulder. CJ's like, no, I'm going to throw it into your other shoulder, and then it just looks like they're completely
well,
discombobulated.
and it definitely wasn't, like, close to him where I was like, "Hey, dude, like, come on." It was
Yeah,
not that close.
right.
I just wondered why, if you see the ball is not coming that close, why aren't you running to about where it's gonna be?
Yeah, dive for it.
That's yeah.
Put your
So,
body on the line.
something well, especially since it was getting close to the end zone, and
Yeah,
I'm like, Why are you not at least looking like you care?"
yeah. I'll tell you what, because I always go back and watch the game. So when I go back, I'll look for that place specifically, and then
Yeah.
I'll shoot
I
you a
put
text
3rd and
message.
6th. I put 3rd and 6th, but I put a question mark, but it's somewhere around there.
Okay, cool.
That must have
Do you
been the
remember what
next time they
quarter it
showed me.
was or what the score was? Had we scored any touchdowns yet?
No.
Because the Texans didn't get into the red zone, and neither did the Titans
Right, I saw that.
until
They
the
were
third quarter, like was almost over.
yeah,
Um,
they were talking about that. No, it wasn't. I think it was before. Do you remember the illegal formation situation
I remember them calling one on the
on Titans?
Titans. Yes, I
Yes,
don't
it was
remember.
before that.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch. I'll
Okay,
have to go
and you
back and
happened to
watch and
notice, but
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
It just looked like he went,
And you are
"There
you.
it goes."
I hope I'm not asking a dumb question. Now, you are familiar with what the red zone is, right?
No.
Oh,
But I
okay.
know that it's close to the end zone, but not the end zone because I thought it was the end zone, and they're like
Okay, no, all the red zone is between the 20-yard line and the goal line.
Okay.
So that's what they consider the red zone. That means when you're in that zone, you definitely should be coming away with points, whether it's touchdowns or field goal. And so they actually keep statistics on what percentage teams score when they get into the red zone.
Mm,
The Texans and the Titans almost set a record. There was a game in 2023 where
I saw that.
nobody got into the red zone, and they almost did that in this game. But they finally
Yeah.
they finally broke loose. So yeah, anytime you hear that, that just means between the 20 and the goal line.
Okay. Yeah, so now I have a reference, but I knew yeah, because at
Yeah,
first I did. I was like, "Oh, it must be the end zone."
yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, they got into the red zone." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
See,
They're
well now you know. See, this is why we do this show. I love it. I love it. I love
yeah.
it.
I'm learning. Does it but thank you for recognizing that that was something that I did learn on my own today.
Yeah, for sure.
Not the 20 part, but I learned.
Yeah.
Um, so the illegal formation was my next thing. Like what's an illegal formation?
Okay. Usually when that's called, there are some very technical formation rules. Like if you have a tight end in a certain place, the wide receiver needs to be either, like if you're looking straight down the line, the wide receiver needs to be covering him. But if there's a running back in the back, that tight end needs to move backwards. And it's super technical. And I'm gonna be honest with you, me who never actually played organized football, sometimes that's confusing for me. I do know the one that got called today is because you're only allowed to have one man in motion when the ball is snapped.
Okay.
So
That
if
came
some
up in another game, so I noticed that.
yeah. So if you decide to put a man in motion and he's running and he's the only guy moving and you snap the ball, that's fine. If he's moving and another guy is moving too, when the ball is snapped, then that's also an illegal formation. And I'm positive that's the one that got called today, is that multiple people were moving when the ball
Okay.
got snapped.
Okay. Yeah, because when that happened before at a different game, and I'm pretty sure I think it was called on us, it
Hmm.
was they like called they didn't call it an illegal formation. They just said
Illegal
two people
shift
are
or
running.
something like that.
Something legal
Yeah.
movement or I don't know, something like that. But yeah.
It amazes me that they have to remember their playbook from front to back, and there's probably thousands of plays in that playbook. then they have to remember, oh, in this play, we have to be in this formation and I have to be in this position. It's a lot. And sometimes it gets really technical. And like, even sometimes when it gets called, I'm confused, like, wait, what? And it's something as simple as like, oh, the tight end was supposed to be 2 feet up instead of
Oh my gosh.
where he was, or this person's too close to the line, but it's okay for him to be that close to the line if this person wasn't there. But since he was, it gets really complicated sometimes. And like I said, I didn't play organized football myself, mostly street football and a whole lot of John Madden. So there's times that I get confused about that one too.
And they have that little cheat sheet.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
noticed we haven't seen that. At least he's been better about hiding it from the cameras.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit smaller. And I don't know if he decided like, maybe I'm doing too much. Let's keep it simple, stupid. You know what I mean? Because I didn't feel like his sheet was as massive as it was in the past. But I want to give, we've given Nick Caley a lot of flack. We've given CJ Stroud a lot of flack. As bad as the offense was in the first 3 quarters, they figured some things out in the fourth quarter. CJ was really accurate in the fourth quarter. That last scoring drive, I think he was 3 for 3. I'm just happy they finally got the young guys involved. You drafted him. Jaden Higgins was a number 2 draft pick. Woody Marks, I think they drafted him in the 3rd or 4th round. Okay. Jalen Noel was in the 3rd round. And every time these guys touched the ball, I noticed they played Hutchison more. That's a guy you mentioned early in our practice episodes that, he was kind of your underdog guy. Put the guys in who are going to make plays. And that's what they did today. And it just feels so good to get a win. It really, really does. I don't even want to think about next week right now because it just feels so good to get that win. And
we don't have to yet. We're not there yet.
Yes, we will not turn the page on this one yet.
In my massive amount of notes.
Absolutely.
But I got to ask though, you said that the offense was not good until fourth quarter, but I noticed even in the beginning, it seemed more organized. It just seemed like, and okay, that doesn't mean they're like, NFL level in the first quarter.
No, I think that is a very, very good observation on your point, on your part. Number one, they could have had 3 field goals. Kaimi Fairbairn missed one, if we recall. So they were moving the ball, and the good news is they were keeping possession of the ball longer.
Yeah. I wrote that down because it was 1st and 10 in the 3rd quarter, I think, and they put Texans had at that point had the ball for 38 minutes, and the Titans only had it for 13.
Right, right, which is exactly the formula to winning a football game, because that means Texans offense is on the field for 38 minutes. That means that other team's defense is on there for 38 minutes, and they're getting tired.
Them out.
Right. You look at the games we lost, the time of possession was not good for the Texans. That defense was on the field a lot. And that's one of the reasons they had a hard time stopping teams in the fourth quarter, because they were probably just tired. So the defense stayed fresh, and they played like it. Danielle Hunter with 2 sacks. I believe Will Anderson Jr. got one as well. An interception by Derek Stingley Jr. I have no complaints about the defense. I know they gave up a couple of big plays, and I know DeMeco Ryans is going to go and practice. He's going to make them watch film, and he's going to say we can't do that, especially against the better teams. But when you shut out a team, I can't complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that brings me to a couple of my questions. And that was the catch by Collins where his toes were in, but his body was questionably in. What are the rules on if you catch it, how does it count?
Yeah, Scara, welcome to the NFL. Welcome to being a football fan. The league is 100 years old, and we still don't know what a catch is. This has been the debate of so many football games. There's been really important football games that have been decided by this type of call. And so here's the rule. You have to have 2 feet inbounds, and you have to be deemed to have control of the ball when the 2 feet are in bounds. So what I saw on this play, and this is the reason I think it was overturned, and I was kind of surprised it was overturned because
I thought it was good, but maybe
No, they overturned it, and I'll tell you what their standard is for overturning a play. Number one, in the last 2 minutes of the second quarter and the fourth quarter, coaches don't challenge plays. Everything is reviewed in the booth by the NFL offices in New York. I believe they're in New York. So this was in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Nico Collins had 2 feet in bounds. He was actually dragging one of his feet to make sure it stayed in bounds. And the ball was really close to his hands, but he hadn't quite caught it yet. By the time he was secure in his hand, his right foot just barely came up off the turf. And I thought to myself, the rule in replay is if there's not clear evidence that it wasn't a catch, you can't overturn the call. Like, if there's a possibility like, ooh, maybe that wasn't a catch, but you don't have clear and defined evidence, then they're not supposed to overturn it. So to me, I mean, I could see a little bit of grass underneath his foot, but I couldn't tell for sure that it came completely up.
And I wonder, because of technology, where do we draw the line with a referee calling something on the field and the only reason it's overturned is a very good camera on his feet,
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reason that exists though is because human error used to be a major part of the game.
Yeah.
If
Like I can see that, but like you said, it's so close that maybe there's grass under, right?
yeah.
And
Well, apparently the guy who was in the replay booth thought he had definitive evidence to overturn it. Me, I thought I was like, man, I don't know if I would have overturned that, but I'm a Texans fan also. So I really wanted him to get that catch. So that may have something to do with it. But yeah,
it's pretty good.
There's been and honestly, while I was doing this is what I said for that play. If CJ Stroud throws a better ball, because Nico Collins is wide open. If CJ Stroud throws a better ball, that's easily a catch because Nico makes that catch all the time. He is one of the best receivers at making sure he stays in bounds. He's done plays like that a dozen times that I've seen just in the last couple of seasons. I thought that was an example of where CJ threw a bad ball. Just threw it a little bit too far. He just hasn't been, it's like,
as crisp.
Yeah, it's like when you have a cold, but you can still go to work, but like you're just not 100, right? That's just how CJ feels right now, at least in the first half. I thought he was really good in the second half. And if I'm going to criticize him for his first half, I've got to give him credit for the second half. And Nick Caley, too, with his play calls. I give credit to the coaching staff for recognizing we got to give Woody Marks the ball more because every time he touched the ball in the 3 losses, he did something good. So why not do it more? See what happens. They did. He had a fantastic game. I thought he was my offensive player of the game.
Didn't I call that at the very beginning of the season? I said,
Mm-hmm.
or no, it was last week. I said, why are we not using these new kids? Like,
Yeah.
we know that they're good.
Yeah.
And we've given them 3 games to try, not doing well.
Man, maybe DeMeco Ryans watches Texans Bloodline. I don't know. I hope he does.
He heard my scolding.
I hope he does. Man, so yeah, I just, like I said, if I'm going to be critical of them when they don't do things well, I got to give them their props. That fourth quarter was incredible. And honestly, this was the first game where all 3 phases of the team, the offense, the defense, and the special teams, all played really well. Coaches like to call that complementary football, and the Texans haven't played that all season, but they played today, and that's why they won the game 26-0. And honestly, it could have been more. I think about, like I said, there's probably 2 touchdowns that CJ missed. We missed a field goal. I mean, it could have been a complete butt whooping, but all in all, it was still fun.
We missed a field goal, but how many did the Titans miss?
Yeah. It feels good to me. Like I told you, I can't stand the Titans, so I wish they could have gotten negative points. I really wanted the defense to score that safety towards the end of the game. I don't know if you saw that. The Titans, Tommy Townsend had a beautiful punt that they downed at the 1-yard line. So here's the goal line. Here's the 1. The Titans were right on the Texans end of the field. And I felt like they tackled him in the back of the end zone, but that was the refs gave him forward progress. So they gave it to him at the 1, but I was really hoping to see the defense score too. But yeah, just an all-around great game. This is the type of game, at least on the field, that'll help you fall in love with this team. And I'll tell you, a lot of the reasons I send you, I'm going to start sending you like the condensed versions of the press conferences because usually DeMeco Ryans only talk for like 4 or 5 minutes. It's not very long. I know I sent you a video that was like 30 minutes, but it's all like 6 minutes of DeMeco and 6 minutes of CJ, and then the rest of it is like, we'll be back in a moment. So I'll send you the shorter videos, because another thing that's going to help you fall in love with this team is you just get to see the personality of the people who lead the team. And see, to DeMeco Ryan's credit, he has been saying the right things this entire time. He hasn't given up on this team. He's not making any excuses. But, you know, the Texans have been 0-3 before and still made the playoffs. That happened in 2018. So they're going to still try. And the odds are stacked up against them, but that's kind of like right where they like to be, the underdogs, you know? So
they like the pressure on.
I guess so. It's too easy to be 0 or 4-0. So let's make it hard.
Okay, so where can or are there rules? I know other than the face mask, right?
Mhm.
Which didn't happen.
We did get one illegal hands to the face on defense today. And I was thinking
I
about you,
must
Scara. I was like, man, Scara's going to be mad about that.
Must have been the one time when I couldn't watch, but yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
I
got
was so
one.
I was so proud. So much better.
Yeah. The Texans only got 6 penalties in this game, which I mean, that's still a lot, but compared to what they've been doing, it's an improvement. I think they only gave up 50 yards.
28 in the first game, it felt like.
Right.
Okay, so but is there rules about where you can grab to tackle?
Okay. Yes, and here's the thing. It depends on who the player is. There's different rules for how to tackle the quarterback than how to tackle anybody else. And
Okay,
that's
somebody running. Let's go with this one because that's the question I had. Somebody's running, and we want to take them down so they don't get any more progress.
As long as you don't hit them in the head, then you can tackle them anywhere.
Okay.
If you lead with your head, if your helmet is the first thing to hit them, that's called targeting, and that's illegal.
Okay.
And there's some people who will throw themselves like a missile and put their arms out so that their arms hit them first. But if you lead with your head and you hit someone, that's an illegal hit also. Because that's not only dangerous for them, that's dangerous for the person making the hit. I mean, there's people who've paralyzed themselves doing that. So,
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, for like a running back or a receiver, as long as you don't hit them in the head, then you're okay.
Okay. Yeah, there was a moment where, and of course now I'm like blinking on who someone was tackling someone, and they went for the like very bottom of the feet, which of course it's going to be, the easiest way to get them down quickly. But I was also like, ooh, that seemed like, I don't know, dangerous.
Yeah. So how I was saying there's different rules for the quarterback. If the quarterback is in the pocket and he's passing, you can't hit him in the head and you can't hit him below the knees.
Okay.
Both of those are illegal. And
yeah, it wasn't Stroud.
Okay. Yeah. So it is not illegal to hit a runner in the legs. As long as, like I said, you're not diving and targeting them with your helmet. So you can trip, not like trip with your feet. You can grab their feet with your arms, trip them over, or try to tackle low so that they lose their balance.
Yeah.
All of that's in play. Just don't hit them with your head and don't hit them in the head.
Okay. Yeah. And I remember the head thing because we've talked about that before. All right. So my last question before I get to my actual player of the week.
Okay.
Is about added time. So there was a penalty, and I don't remember why, and I've never seen the time added before. I don't think I've seen yardage, but they're like, oh, put the clock to this time.
Yeah. So when the defense commits a penalty, the clock is not allowed to keep running because that's kind of not fair. Because especially when the team that's on offense is behind, they need as much time as possible to try to come back in the game. So anytime there's a defensive penalty and the clock operator accidentally will run some time off, the referees will usually go back and look at when the foul happened and then tell them, hey, reset the clock back to X amount of time, whatever time it was.
Okay, so it was when the foul happened.
Yes.
Okay, and whatever that play was, do the offense team get to keep whatever progress they've made?
Yes, and usually there's penalty yardage added to it. So depending on what the penalty was, it could be 5 yards, 10 yards, 15. And so if, let's say the penalty happened Um, and the Titans had made a 15-yard pass for a first down. They have an option to take the penalty yardage or decline the penalty and just take the yardage that they got. So, for instance, let's say the penalty yardage is not as much as what they got with the play, then normally they'll just decline that penalty and keep the
Right.
result of the play.
Okay.
If something
Yeah, 'cause
happened bad on the play and that penalty happened, then they'll take the penalty yardage because it's usually an automatic first down on those type of defensive penalties. So they're going to take them.
okay. All right. Last question, actually, because you
Yeah,
just
I remember
reminded
you
me.
said you had downs, questions about downs.
What the downs? Okay, I thought I was getting the hang of the downs, and
Right.
then this game, every time I looked up, I'm like, "Wait a minute, we went from 6 to 10 to 2 to 8 to" I'm like, "What is happening?" I don't know.
Okay. So when you see a down and distance, let's say at the beginning of the game, it's first down and 10 to go. So first and 10 means it's your first down and you have 10 yards to go before you make another first down.
Okay.
So every team has 4 tries to get 10 yards to get a first down. So let's say the next play, they run the ball for 3 yards. Well, now this is the second down and you've gotten 10 minus 3. So now it's
Okay.
second and 7. Or
Okay.
if they move backwards, which the Texans did a lot today, it might be a penalty. I think they had first and 30 at one point. Then they got another penalty or got tackled for loss. So they had a second and 33 that they actually converted. Crazy because Nico Collins made an amazing catch. So the first number is what down you're on. The next number is how many yards you have to go to get a first down.
Okay, it's the second number that kept throwing me off.
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah.
"What is
The
happening to
second
this
in numbers,
number?"
yeah, because that number was all over the place today. Like I said, they had second and 33, first and 30. They were behind what they call behind schedule. Usually, a good offense, you want to try to average like 4 yards per play because
Okay.
that means you're going to be consistently getting first downs.
Sure.
You know, three and a half, 4 yards per play. But the Texans were moving backwards a lot. But the good news is they were moving the Titans offense back a lot too. So yeah, first number is what down you're on. And the second number is how many yards to go. And I want to shout out the Texans because they were not very good. Well, they didn't start off good on third down, but they ended up going 6 for 15, which isn't terrible. They've had much worse, and they were three for 3 on fourth down conversions. Usually on fourth down, if you haven't gotten the first down, you're either going to kick a field goal or if you're too far away, you're going to punt to the other team for that last down. Depending on how many yards you have to go and where you are on the field, some coaches decide, hey, we're going to go for it. And I think because the Texans haven't won a game all season, they were like, screw it, we're just going to go for it. So,
Let's just get some points.
yeah, let's, and to their credit, they converted. So I don't have any complaints about this game. I know that it was an inferior opponent, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. And I'm going to take it. I'm going to enjoy it. And
I
so,
enjoyed it. Felt so much better. And
yes.
so yes. And oh yeah, and the first touchdown, because we already had the 6 points and then we touchdown.
Mhm.
I'm like, yes.
Yes, me
I'm like,
too. Me
I
too.
actually got excited.
That's what I'm talking about. I love that. Yeah, I was doing a live stream and I got up out of my chair and actually dropped my microphone. I was like, oh, I should probably talk into the microphone. It just felt so good to see, like you said, what looked like an NFL offense. And you were absolutely right. Even when they weren't scoring touchdowns, you could just tell the offense looked like they belonged, which they had not.
Something was different.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you noticed that. See, I mean, I'm telling you, that means you're starting to get it. And listen, it's not rocket science. It's football. Like I think you're doing great. And I love the observations that you've been making, even as a little bit of a newbie. It tells me that you're paying attention and it tells me that you're into it. And that's what makes me happy. I'm super excited.
Thank you. I know. Well, there are a lot of little like, things in football.
Yeah,
But so I think I'm gonna end up with Derek Stingley Jr. as my player of the week.
I like
Um
it.
yeah. Collins did some great things, but I think it's one of those like in my teaching job, I would sometimes have people say, "Hey, stop doing your job so well if you want to stop being asked to do things." Like
Yeah,
Nico just always does well,
yeah.
so he continues it's almost like, oh well, we expect that of him.
And when he doesn't, it's like, bro, what happened?
Right. And then you had this other guy that I guess I just hadn't expected a whole lot out of him based on previous games. And then he did awesome today.
Yeah, so Derek Stingley Jr. has actually been playing a little bit banged up. So that's what made today. I think he was questionable for the game at the start. And he ended up toughing it through, and he had a really good game. Got himself an interception. That's his 12th career interception. He really is.
I'm not one too.
Yeah, I'm
like,
not.
I noticed that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. I will tell you, Derek Stingley is one of the best corners in the league. I know that the Texans have been losing, so it's been kind of hard to notice. But I'm optimistic. I hope what this win does for the team, it just gives them more confidence. Because I hate to do this, but next week they're going up against their Goliath, the team who they have not beaten in a really long time. The MVP of the league last year was Lamar Jackson, excellent quarterback. He's got the arm. He can run. He's basically like a running back who can also play quarterback. The good news is that they historically have a great defense, and their defense has not been very good this year. So I'm telling you, there's a chance. Okay. And then after that, the Texans go on their bye week. I don't know if I've explained to you what that is, but in the 17-game season, every team gets 1 week off where they don't practice. They just kind of rest their bodies. And so after the Ravens game, the Texans will have their bye week. And so
only 1 in 17 weeks?
Oof. I know. And this one's really
a whole long stretch because that's early.
Yeah, this one's really early. Last year, it was late. I don't think it came until like week 12, and they were so banged up by the time they got to the bye week. So I'm like, can we get it somewhere like closer to the middle? But the good news is that I think if you can pull out a win against the Baltimore Ravens, a team that has been your nemesis, a thorn in your side, and you go into the bye week at 2-3. Considering how the season started, I think that's going to make the rest of the season very interesting. And that's all I'm going to say because it is my superstitious year.
Your superstitious year. Yeah, let's not.
And that is all I'm going to say about that. I really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed talking about it with you. I hope I answered your question. Did you have anything else you wanted to go over?
I don't think so because I was happy this game. And
so you gave offensive player, or did you pick just one player of the game? You didn't do offense and defense.
I just picked a player of the game.
Okay.
And I almost went with like a play of the game, as with that catch. And then I was like, I'm gonna go with player.
Hey man, you can't go wrong with Derek Stingley Jr. So I think he had a great
number
game.
49 is on the Titans for his.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google this guy, see if they got any butt pics. No Diddy.
Show it to your wife. Ask.
Of course. So I want to thank everybody so much for tuning into this episode of Texans Bloodline, now on the Houston Sports State of the Union podcast channel, which if you're watching on that channel, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm going to put my link trees in the description of this video so that you can find all of my content. Follow me on all the socials, and you can find Scara K at Scara K on Facebook and at Bad Teacher Tales on Instagram. Real quick, you know what I like to do. Let's shout out your other podcasts and tell people where they can find it.
You can find Bad Teacher Tales on every major platform. It will be on YouTube somewhat soon. And it's just a fun podcast where you get a little bit of drama from inside the classroom, inside education, and teachers tell us, they allow us to anonymously tell their stories. So
I love it. I'm a fan of the show. I hope every Houston Texans fan who watches Texans Bloodline will take the bye week and go get caught up on all Scara's episodes and then get ready for those new ones that'll be coming out. Like I said, if you need help, holler at your boy. I can't wait to get that podcast back out there. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Scara, thank you for another great episode of Texans Bloodline. We will see you guys next week after a Texans win against the Baltimore Ravens. In the meantime, I want you to stay 10 toes down for the H. We love you and good night.